15th in the series of the Turkeyen And Tain talks. This is an initiative of the 10th Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Griffith. I'm happy to see we started out with just a few rows. I've seen it's grown, and now we have people standing, and we'll get some seats in to ensure that everyone gets seated. So very soon we should have everyone comfortably seated as we move on. These Turkeyen And Tain talks are part of the university's renaissance to re-engage with the Guyanese and wider community on critical issues to the nation. They have three aims, and I'm going to not take much time to articulate them all because you have it as a record for you. I just want to point you to just the section just under the order of proceedings that identifies the aim of the Turkeyen And Tain talks. My job here, my name is Calvin Bernard. My job here is really as moderator. I very happily accepted that role, as opposed to one of these guys. I will have limited time to speak, but I'm very happy to be here as part of this distinguished panel, engaging on biodiversity and Guyana's future. This is a critical topic, I believe, that we must have open dialogue, and hopefully this contributes to a dialogue I believe that has already started in a significant way and spurs other dialogues in critical places so that we can collectively have some critical perspective on where we're going as a nation and how that relates to the biodiversity that we have, how we utilize that biodiversity to take us forward, ensuring that it is sustained. So we have a number of technical presenters here identified. Dr. Priya Maharaj, their bios for these presenters in your profile, so I will not go through those bios in detail. She is director at the Center for the Study of Biological Diversity. Next to her is Ms. Aisha Williams, country manager for the WWF Guyana, the Guyana office. Next to her is Professor Judith Rosales. She is the coordinator for the PhD program in biodiversity at the university that's shared across 3 faculties. I know there's a slight error in what you see. They're talking about coordinator of the faculty itself. Next to her is Dr. Raquel Thomas. No stranger I know to these bars. Dr. Thomas is the director for Resource Management and Training at Eurocrama. And to her right is Dr. Patrick Chesney. I believe his official title now is large as a consultant. I don't see more in the document. Next to him is Ms. Alfred Liverpool, who is head of the biology department at the University of Guyana. And finally, at the end, we have Mr. Curtis Bernard. And I don't know why 2 Bernards are sitting at ends of this table. It was not my construction. I was handed this. We will also be hearing from two distinguished and prominent persons in our society, within the university and without. I know one is here, and so we're going to get started without further delay. I would like to introduce to you Professor Ivor Griffith, who has been with us now 2 years. He's counting the months. I can't remember all the months. It's been June, so it must be 4 months. He has been spearheading the renaissance of the university, transforming internally the university's own function and existence as an institution, but also its engagement with the public. So without further ado, I call to the mic to give you remarks. Professor Ivor Griffith.
Good evening. Good evening. Let's write one more time. Good evening.
Good evening.
Let me ask that we follow the strict order of the program and all stand for the national anthem. we have a recorded version, or we shall sing. Mr. Reuben Robertson from the FAO will lead the singing of the Guyanese national anthem. Dear land of Guyana, of rivers and plains, rich by the sunshine and lush by the rains, such and black and fair, between mountains and seas, your children salute you, dear land of the free. Please be seated. Give yourselves a round of applause for that wonderful word. Pro-Chancellor, Major General Retired Joe Singh, students of our university, members of our university academic and administrative staff, ladies and gentlemen, all good evening. Sitting in the front row to my right is a gentleman who is known, or should be known, throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, and is known beyond. His name is Dave Martins. Dave Martins was part of the renaissance of our university in something that we re-established, the Artist in Residence series. And I recall when Dave did his Artist in Residence performance in Linden, there was a conversation by a group of staffers who had been to the performance he did in Guyana. And one of these young staffers in her early 20s was saying what a wonderful thing it was to go to Dave Martins' performance, that this was the first time she was going to the Essequibo. The experience that young Guyanese was voicing is not a unique experience to many people who live along the coast. They don't know much, we have not ventured much beyond the perimeter in which we live. I say that to say that the conversation about biodiversity need to recognize that the value, the beauty, the richness of our biodiversity is beyond the coast and along the coast. But not only is it the richness beyond the coast and along the coast outside of Georgetown that is something that we should be wonderfully accepting and proud of, but we also should not take for granted this rich biodiversity that we have. And I want to read with you a few lines in regard to the inclusivity needed in conversations and actions about biodiversity. A few lines from a gentleman who died just a few months ago, who served with distinction as the United Nations Secretary General, a gentleman called Kofi Annan. He said the preservation of biodiversity is not the job only for governments or international and non-governmental organizations. It must involve the private sector, and it must involve each and every individual, because we all have roles in changing the entrenched outlooks and in ending the destructive patterns of behavior about our diversity. What Kofi Annan said there in these few words connects to the purpose and the composition of this conversation. A conversation where we can see representatives of governmental and other organizations, including universities. A conversation in which we have the future protectors of our biodiversity, our students. And I'd like to invite all the university or other students to stand and be recognized. Let's have a stand. All of our students, please stand, don't be shy. The Martin will give each person who stands a copy of his record. So long as you can say one of the tunes. Let's give our students a round of applause. Thank you. Our students in particular are part of the protection of the biodiversity about which Kofi and I spoke. But the reality is, like that young woman who had gone to Anna Regina for the first time. She's in her 30s. You can't really be passionate about protecting something that you don't know. And so this is an opportunity to begin the education for some, to continue the education journey for others, but the intent is not to have this be the alpha and the omega in regards to educating and knowing about the rich biodiversity of our nation. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that programs like this, all the Turkeyen And Tain Talks programs, all the other series that we have, Conversations and Law and Society being another major series, do not just happen. I'd like to have you join me in applauding the work of Deputy Vice Chancellor Paloma Mohammed and her team. And I'd like to have you applaud all the sponsoring and contributing elements to the program, some of whom are represented. I want to ask each of us to not only enjoy the conversation by not only listening, but having questions here. But maybe going beyond the conversation tonight to be curious about and add one additional element of knowledge. Visit one place out of Georgetown that will enable you to learn about the rich, wealthy biodiversity. I had a remarkable experience in going to a wonderful place called Iwokrama. It took several deans, one of whom is here. We drove the 10.5 hours up. We spent a night. We went to the canopy. We went into some of the rainforest, the Mora forest, the greenheart forest. And as I'm walking along one of the forests, I'm looking at the ground and I'm saying, what is sapodilla and kiwi doing in this forest? Part of my educational horizon was broadened when it was told to me by Chancellor, these are not sapodillas or kiwis. These are greenheart seeds. How many of you have seen greenheart seeds? Good. Well, you can't necessarily see a greenheart seed if you walk along the streets of Regent Street or walk along the street. You've got to go to where the greenheart and the Mora are. So I want to encourage us, particularly those of us like myself who live more out of Guyana than in Guyana. The beauty of our biodiversity is not in the narrow strip called Georgetown. So enjoy this program this evening, but make a commitment to be not only educated more about our biodiversity, but be part of the protecting of current and future Guyana. Have a wonderful program. Thank you.